Hello, everyone, to the third podcast of the Physique Blueprint. So
It
I
kind of
guess
feels not like the third podcast, right? It's for me like it feels like the fifth or seven or something like that because we had like so much conversations for now.
the first one, like it was 4 episodes. The second
Yeah.
one was one, so that covers like a lot. How are
So
you? How is it going? How is life going?
I think that's a easy question for me because my life is going pretty well at the moment because I'm not in prep. I can eat whatever I want, train and enjoy life. Looking Andrea suffering in prep, I think that will probably start in the next 4 weeks. Already in the suffering mode. So I'm chilling and looking at you and Tura, how they suffer and enjoy my life. That's to be an easy part, I would say.
That's good. That's good. So yeah, for me, it's basically the normal routine, like every day, and same routine training, food, food
So
looking.
you don't feel a difference. So that's probably an important thing we can dive in already. Is that you're 4 weeks out now for now, right? And
Yeah, tomorrow
you
is
say it's like every day. It's not like super exhausting. It's not like sleep is
man.
super bad.
It's not. No, I'm feeling like if you see me, like I'm full of energy. I'm doing the things that I was doing even before, like when I was eating, when I had food. But I think it's because I started an ADHD medication as well. So I think that one boosted me as well a little bit. But like I feel energized in the day. It's not, I'm not feeling tired that much. Like at the end of the day, yeah, I'm tired, but that's,
And which medication do you have there?
I don't remember its name.
It
When,
just
when,
boosts your energy for the day.
yeah, when Clio will join, she will tell us. She's the one arranging for me that stuff.
Yeah, so that will be so we go into yeah, that's probably interesting in the supplement section where we
Mhm.
can talk later about some nutrition and some supplements today. But we like for now want to start with just how's life going in the first 5 minutes, like giving a small update and what's happening at the moment. But for me, that's at least not enough. I'm just training, enjoying my life, and that I like reduced my work for I would say at least it feels like 50%. So and
Okay.
this gave me at least for now quite some time to breathe and getting some energy back and diving back more into bodybuilding as well because that had a big break I would say this year. And as you saw the pictures I think in Instagram or the ones I showed you in WhatsApp, I was in January I was in quite some good shape, I would say. And that's the thing I want to, or at least in my head already, that's the thing I want to go back to and still want to improve the one or two things that I still have in mind. But I think that's mostly some more upper chest, some more arm development, and a bit more adductor glutes, I would say. So that's probably overall maybe around 5. I want to add like 5 kilos of muscle and then to see where I'm standing next to the other competitors and depending on how heavy I am at that point.
Mhm.
Because my weight limit is kind of, I think I can still get the 98 kilos for the amateurs. But I think in end of January, I was like quite, I said it to you, I think yesterday already 8 weeks out or around 8 weeks out condition wise. And I had, I think still 5 or 6 kilos to drop to make the weight. I would say I finish around 100 for now. So, but I want to press me into that weight limit. So I think another 5 would be possible, but then the 98 kilos to get will be pretty hard, or depending if bodybuilding is then the better decision in the long run. I don't know yet.
Mhm.
That's the thought process I have in my mind at the moment. And trying to finalize where I need to go, so to push bodybuilding this year a bit more than I did in the last 4 months.
Yeah, you need to come back. Basically, what you did after the time that you were sick, I think you stopped like like paying attention to what you're doing for you, and you paid attention more to us. And now it's finally time for you to get back start dancing again.
Start them. Yeah, so I just watched you dancing, and that the dance you're doing, of especially for the for the persons who wanted to compete this year, that's needed to be checked. Everything needed to be clear in my head, and I used that time, to be honest, to just recover for persons who, I think that's quite some interesting topic, where we can say is when you're doing sport on the, I would say, high level for you or for yourself at least, not on competition wise maybe, but maybe on on an athlete level, I would say on a high athlete level with a lot of weight, or where a lot of performance is a prioritization all the time, then sometimes you get bored as well. And I'm doing this for, yeah, I'm doing sports since I'm 5, maybe with 1 or 2 small breaks, but that's close to 34 years. I'm doing athletic stuff all the time, and sometimes 2-3 minutes of breathing room and just enjoying life is a good idea, I would say.
That's true. That's a discussion we had with Clio as well. Like we it's basically we make bodybuilding and eating like our meal plan, our everyday life. And when we're going out, we're forgetting to be humans, and we're mostly giving, like, for example, we go out and we see like something sweet that we see it and it looks nice, and we will not even like go to buy it, like to try it, because we are like in our mind that doesn't fit that will not give us anything, you know. So that's what we said, like after the competition is done, to basically enjoy a little bit, like even like once a month, like go out and enjoy the company, go with the flow, and enjoy a little bit like something different that we don't do in our normal days.
And why are doing it not in the off season once a week? Because like that would be calculatable.
Yeah, exactly. Look, to be honest, is even like we do it, Clio is ready to join.
So
So
she can tell us how her day
yeah,
or her here week went. Because your answer was like, what? The same as every week. Eating, training, that's it, bro. Just some
look,
4 weeks
Cle-
out.
Clio,
Nothing to say.
Clio can give you more insight about my prep than I can.
I will ask her, and I think I will get more information out of her than you.
I think. Oh, by the way, she has a video of me posing yesterday because she was taking videos with her phone. So we will try to share some from posing clips yesterday.
So a small prep update on the video,
Yeah,
on the live stream as well. That's
yeah.
nice. And then we can talk, and that's good. Then we can dive after she gave us an update today. Very interesting, because she went to some recovery, I think, as well, right? This year.
Basically, what we did with Clio is try to have her period again, so balancing everything, and like health phase. We did health phase for the last 7 months.
But that's, I would say, a recovery time. Yeah, and
Yeah.
7 months is now quite some time.
Yeah, but yeah, we finally did it. Like, hello.
Hello. And my webcam freeze it. Why you came in? Perfect. Give me a second time. Why is? But I'm still. You can still hear me.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
still hear you.
Then can Clio start to tell us how her week went for now?
Yeah.
I had a rough week. Uh, just work, but otherwise great. Weather is good. Life is good.
You see, we are the type of people that we give short answer, you know? So Patrick was asking me how the prep is going, like, because I'm 4 weeks out. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, same thing, different day, like, just life. And he was like, yeah, so when Clio will get in the call, like, we will ask her.
I think probably now is the time
Wait.
where
Let Patrick join. You got in and he got kicked out.
that's how it goes.
So yeah, I want you to share here. Here he is.
Yeah, I think my Riverside crashed.
Yeah. So
No,
I
it
told Cleo to give you an
went.
insight. I told Cleo to give us an insight of my prep, how my prep is going.
I
How
think
is she in prep in the last 4 weeks?
uh, I think until now there was absolutely no difference. If anything, I think prep was like energizing him because it was like a motivation, like every day gave him structure, kind of like kept him going, made him more productive. He's always more productive in prep compared to like other people. But now I feel like he's starting to feel it. I can feel him be a little bit more tense, a little bit more stressed, more sensitive to like few things. So I guess yeah, like mood wise, just a little bit more tension maybe, but I think it's also fatigue and hunger driven because he wasn't really that hungry until now. And now I realize that, hunger is a little bit higher, fatigue is a little bit higher. So I try
And
to
we are not
motivate him
able
a little bit
to push
more.
fatigue down with food anymore, right?
Yeah.
We're not able to push his fatigue and cortisol levels down anymore. So now you're getting the full Minas expectations. So we're looking into it when he's like getting now this time super lean, how his moods will swing in the next 4 weeks.
I enjoy it. I was telling him yesterday, like I think I'm more excited for his show than him. I can't wait to see him on stage because now is the point where he's already looking the best I've ever seen him, but he gets better by the day. And I think that's just it's very exciting to see, and I love seeing his passion because he enjoys it a lot. Every step of the process, every even the hard prep days, he still enjoys them to the max, which I think is what bodybuilding is all about. And I can't lie, it's making me miss the stage as well because that's exactly how a prep should be in
We
contrast
we we
to
we we
all of
started the
my
fire again.
yeah, in contrast to all of my previous preps. I'm seeing like, oh my god, I did things so wrong. But maybe next time I'll get it right.
I think that's a big process, right? And also like we had the luck, and luck is always important as well in the when we're doing, I think the first prep together is that I think we had like a good communication base, and also I think I had a good feeling where I need to push and where I need to hold back to. Now it's getting maybe hard, and probably the next 2 weeks he will finally realize that suffering will be a part of prep, when the last 2 weeks will be probably the hardest ones. But it's for a short amount of time. And I think we already can or did some stuff that will lower fatigue in the next 4 weeks, because now the jokers are coming in the game, but always in like small amounts. But it's nice that you say that you think he's like more energetic and way more productive, and until now, his moods were kind of the same, because he
Yeah.
said yesterday everything is the same, but I didn't believe it fully, but because I think so, 4 weeks out, there should be some mood swings and some impulsive moments that come out now out of him, because at least as I think he's a very emotional person, that should happen now and then in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and but like I said, it's moments. Like you said, it's moments. It's not like all the time. There'll be like a few moments of being like a little bit more emotional, or and it's always like, kind of almost like a normal person. You'll be more irritable when you're hungry or when you're tired. So it's not out of the norm, and that's what I've always respected about him too. In his previous preps, that being on prep was never an excuse to be an asshole or to like be, a spoiled princess. Or I hated when like most people when they're on prep, it's like every conversation they have, everything starts with I'm on prep, so that then they feel they get like a get out of jail free card to do whatever bullshit they want or say whatever they want. And no feelings hurt, because don't be offended by things I said when I was on prep. Like, no, that's not just because you're on prep doesn't mean that other people aren't like stressed or tired or hungry or other things going on in their life. Your issues are not more important than other people's. And Minas, even on prep, he still puts other people above his own needs. And sometimes I even have to remind him that, hey, it's okay to be a little bit selfish right now. Like, it's okay if I left a few groceries, like I can handle that. You don't have to, go back and forth.
Now you
And
heard it from two persons. We had that
yeah,
conversation. I don't know if we texted about it, off topic, where we're like one week ago, where it says like, he needs to put himself on a level, at least on the same level than everyone else, and needs to make some rules and where people don't have or are allowed to cross that lines.
Yeah,
yeah,
I need to do
yeah.
that.
And even at the gym, because sometimes I'll see him like really, really push, and then he'll tell me like, like I'm so tired, I'm dead, I can't focus, and I'm like, yeah, because you're supposed to be training 2 reps in reserve, and your 2 reps in reserve is my like beyond failure, like training.
+1.
Yeah, so like your CNS is probably completely fried by now. That's absolutely normal. I'd be very worried if you were okay right now. Like the only way for him to
And
be
then he's
to
crying.
have more energy would be cocaine at this point. Like you can't.
And then you cry, Mina, and tell me, I don't can recover the training anymore. We need to lower the sets. And I think normally if he's training two reps in reserve, that should be totally fine. Okay, we stop doing 3. We do sets here. We needed to cut everything out, because I recognize he's not able to just
No,
train,
no,
or at least
but
it's
that's the
hard
thing.
for him to train 2 reps in reserve.
You can't decrease his volume, because then even if you give him 1 set of per exercise, he will go like so hard on that 1 set that it'll be more than enough. Like the less volume he's like, all right, I have 1 set, I have to like make this count. And I don't know how he does it, because now he adapted my training program to be kind of the same split, just for convenience, because we only have 1 car in order to go to the gym at the same days. It was kind of
So you
inconvenient
can train
if,
together.
yeah, at least at the same time, instead of like me having a rest day when he is training, etc. And I train legs, and then 4 days later I'm training legs again, and I'm like, shit, like, I still feel them. They're not recovered. I can't, like, I used to be like once a week. I need like full 7 days until I train legs again. So now I need to get used to it. And I realized like it's very hard. And even motivation wise, because whenever I had like a hard set of squats or something in my mind, I was like, this is it. Then you don't have to do this again for another 7 days. And now I'm like, you'll do this again in 3 days. So just do it anyway.
It's growing mentally. That sounds pretty harsh, but it's like this. I give a fuck. I do it anyway. And I think you can sometimes, when you get used to it, still say you get more resilient as well.
To be honest, when I'm doing when I'm doing the heavy sets, like I'm doing the first set squat and then I just have in my mind like a Bob the Builder song or something. Like my mind just goes blank. Like I don't think of tiredness. I would just go the second set in. I would just sing a song in my mind. La 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 la
No,
la.
I need more music that pushes me. So I'm trying to connect with music as well and trying to go into I think I would always say like a war zone where you just fight against the machine or yourself and trying to break it every time you hit the wall. But not every day is the same, right? Some days you lose, some days you win because your mind is weaker than your body, and then the set says, "No, nah, fuck no, this rep I don't take this time."
Yeah.
That's true.
I am the same. I have specific playlists for specific workouts and specific moods.
You're a person that when she has like maybe it's a question for you too is when you have like found a special song that you really like, you can hear it over and over again in the
That's what
workout.
I do. I've had whole workout with like one song on repeat. And then I maybe don't listen to it again for a month because I'm sick of it. But
And
yeah.
you have never the same feelings again for that song, but
Yeah, it
the
never
one
works
month
twice.
was
It
pretty epic.
never works
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
No.
You two are like kind of the same. Like you have so many similarities, and that was because yesterday we had a call with Patrick and we are discussing some things, and I was like, "Man, do you have Asperger's?" And he was like, "I don't know. I have ADHD. I have PTSD. I have this. I don't know combined. Like what's going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're the same as Clio."
Yeah.
So that's a good
No.
decision. So that's why you love us both. Because
Yeah,
I'm the male version of Clio then. Both completely crazy, but special.
Special is the right word. Yeah.
Yes. And special is not boring. Special is always something that excites you and finds some new things to make your life not easy, Minas.
babe, can you share your screen and show the video of me posing men's physique yesterday of the routine that I created?
How do I do that? I'm useless with technology.
Yeah, if you press on your screen, maybe there is a share button.
That's video, messages, people panel, contact support, mute my speaker.
So, okay,
The
send me
question
the
is if she
video.
can do it on smartphone or if it's only possible to share the screen on
Maybe.
PC.
Send me the video on WhatsApp. Send me the video on WhatsApp.
Now,
We see a big sea of Clio, but nothing else.
Yeah. The funny part is,
But you can send it in via WhatsApp and she can show it. And maybe we dive after in depending, and if you want, you can tell us what you're doing at work. It would be quite interesting if you tell our the people that listen to that podcast or start listening what are you doing, because maybe you're in the future sometimes more often here to tell us what your work is, and I think we can talk a lot about some health and supplement stuff. I heard you're quite clever in that area.
yeah. So you can't see me right now because the vet messages are loading to send. So I'm a resident physician. So I'm now in my residency training, almost done with year one. I'm specializing in family medicine and lifestyle medicine with plans for future maybe fellowships, etc., and integrative medicine, functional medicine, that kind of, not traditional medicine and nutrition, exercise, supplements, a lot of like natural bioproducts, hormones. All of that is a big part of what I want to do. And so, yeah, supplements is something that I'm a bit nerdy. I love reading all about them. I love using them, combinations, and I've always had really good results. And it's something that I want to learn more and more about. And I think that they're also there's so much misconceptions in bodybuilding about some supplements. Some are really overrated and some are underrated. So that could be
For
interesting
sure, yeah.
for a podcast topic, and and things that we even use ourselves, that we've used on other people, I use on my clients. So some of them are medical, but most of them are just general well-being that I think anyone could benefit from. Oh, there we go. I sent them.
So we can dive in the video and then maybe we continue with that topic. That would be, I think, a quite interesting one for today. Minas, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Naked Minas.
Naked Minas. So I was doing men's physique while wearing, because I was doing both like training. So
You can start to see glute striations in the side
yeah.
poses, right?
Nah, he's getting a lot leaner in his glutes.
Yeah, that was the final part, hams and glutes and lower back. I'm waiting for the last 2 weeks that they start to show.
They
I'm
always show
waiting
like
for it. Yeah.
last weeks, yeah. It's his hardest, like the hardest part to lean out on him.
Yeah, but I wanted to be like 2 weeks out. I want to be at the point where we can say that, oh, we could bring that to stage, but it can still improve. But already like to have time for the last 2 weeks for maybe some tweaking, some recovery where we don't need to push as hard. So planned as to finish him quite as like in the next 2 weeks will be I think another drop probably, and depending on how the next check-in I think midweek will go, we will maybe like push for another 1.5 or 2 weeks pretty hard, and then we're hopefully finished for the whole prep.
To,
The rest of the time will be kind of detox, recovery, fatigue management, and maybe even some refeeds where we can bring you to life again.
yeah. The point, the thing that I am a little bit nervous is if my height isn't, because normally I'm 174. And I don't know when I'm depleted if that will go down. So I don't know if I will get the weight cap on classic. Like my weight cap.
We need to push you down so you get the weight cap that you can.
Yeah,
That will
my weight cap is 84.6. And today I woke up at 85. So I know I will be
You'll be
lower, but
under that. Yeah.
yeah, you're
yeah,
rolling
I
under
will
that.
be under that, but I don't know, like, if they count my height as one, let's say now, like,
You mean the one below?
yeah, one below, like, to be again able to get the weight cap, because I
But
think that next
which weight cap
one,
would it be? Is it then 81 kilos or something?
no, it's more like 82.7. I
But we
think
will
so.
reach that as well with water depletion. That should be no problem.
Okay. So this is the next one. So the thing that I changed here, it was the hand position. I didn't like it to be open, so I preferred it to be like a punch on the waist. So yeah, these are the two videos that I have. The rest are on my phone. And
Yeah, but so after the videos, we can say I think it's around 1 to 2 kilos we need to drop, and probably another 1 to 1.5 kilos of water we will probably deplete to get you super hard. But we have still like some time and some stuff we can do without thinking about the water, because this will probably 1 or 1.5 kilos, something around that we will probably dropping out. So
yeah,
it even should be no problem to go under the. I think around you will be around 82.
yeah, I think so as well. I guess I'm seeing my body. I think 82 on this show, it will be really good.
Yeah.
which
So
is which
between
is 10 kilos above your last stage weight.
and
My
I think probably also in better condition than he was on last
Yeah,
time on
yeah.
stage.
So previous time, like I was 69 kg before the loading, and after the loading, I was 72 kg, but I was still a little bit flat, and I wasn't like my glutes weren't shredded. So I can say like in these 3 years, I have added like 11 to 13 kg. So
I would
that,
say probably even more when we look at condition as well, that you
yeah.
you had probably the chance last prep to even cut 2 or 3 kilos more to get glute striations and everything, but also could be possibility that you were like so flat that the condition looked shittier because you were way too flat because you over dieted. Could be
Yeah.
also a possibility.
But
The previous time
anyway,
that I competed,
I don't think that the kg, like the weight, is necessarily representative always of like the change and it's useful
Yeah,
data.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I know, for example, for myself, from my last prep, from first to last show, like from my first show, which was Portugal, till Romania with a pro card win, the difference was like 2 kg, but I looked like double the size in Romania. So, and like my stage weight is like I look big, but my stage weight is very low. Like I am at best, like my highest was 60 kg on stage. Like I'm lightweight compared to other girls, but I don't look that tiny. So
Yeah, but isn't that like a good sign that you like pack on a lot of muscle on very tiny space, especially also like on good pros when when they don't get heavier, but you see the improvement visually every year, and you
mhm.
see that they're looking fuller and better, but still made the weight cap, but you can see the improvements shows that. Yeah, I think also more muscle quality, more muscle density, and that's what we want to see in classic physique as well, right? Classic physique is like seeing every stripe, every striation nowadays. I think it's one of the main classes with the most where the people are the most conditioned for now.
Yeah, and that I think that's conditioning for me has always been like very important, because no matter what size you are, there's always going to be someone bigger than you. Unless you're very lucky with the lineup, there's almost bound to be someone who's bigger, at least in some body area. And you can't always control like your size. Has to do with your shape, has to do with your genetics and all that, but you can control condition. That's not genetics, that's just a reflection of your work, the timeline, and kind of the prep planning. So, if if you're not conditioned enough on stage, you can't blame anyone but you. So that's why I always respect condition.
That and posing.
Yeah, I'm not very good at posing, so I don't
But maybe
comment
we
on
dive
that.
now for into some supplements or stuff where you can say like we said we have like maybe some underrated, and we can talk about some overrated supplements in the industry. Also, maybe we can dive maybe shortly into health, and also maybe hormone levels in girls and health and bodybuilding would be maybe this is also a topic something for another podcast because it's a huge topic, but maybe we can give some informations out of that, because I think in the last 7 months, as we heard already, you were as well in a recovery health phase. And what happened in that time for you, and what are the difference, and what were the stuff that you did so you had help with recovery, supplement wise and maybe also hormone wise?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, the last maybe not a year, but almost a year, it's been all health focused, all maintenance phase. So changes were, for example, diet wise, higher fats to support hormones. And I think that's something that a lot of people know, but it's also, where do these fats come from? How are they divided throughout the day? And also, it's not just higher fat, or I was eating a lot more whole foods, a lot less processed foods, cautious of, more chemicals and additives. So overall health, because you're trying to keep inflammation low and cortisol low. And it wasn't easy because, like, with my job, cortisol was sky high, sleep was not where it's supposed to be. So a lot of cortisol support supplements. So there's no like direct like supplement that will target estrogen, for example, or progesterone. There are some that are can be helpful. I use progesterone drops, for example, sublingual, and I use also the chestberry supplement, which is just a herb you can buy on Amazon. And they are support. So you need a lot of things to be in play. Then cortisol support, we know ashwagandha. But again, with ashwagandha, I think there's a lot of misconceptions around dosing and cycling. A lot of people do like very high dose year round, which defeats the purpose and it's a waste of money and can actually cause harm. But also, ashwagandha is a lot more effective when it's combined with other things like rhodiola or L-theanine. You can use 5-HTP, so that it will improve your mood, your stress levels, your stress resilience. Because it's not just, you don't want to tank your cortisol levels. You just want to basically help your body respond to stress more efficiently. And then it's a
That's
lot
also like
of
a mindset thing, right? Like how you have, like how you interact with stress, and if that harms you, or if it's just a new opportunity where you can grow, depending on how you interact with it, that makes also like a big difference, right? But I think
yeah,
also ashwagandha, 5-HTP, and also like magnesium in the evening can help, at least in a stressy time, to get some more calmness in the evening,
yeah,
to sleep
yeah.
better. But I think
Magnesium is
I'm also a big
probably,
fan of magnesium.
yeah, me too. Magnesium is probably the one I prescribe magnesium to all my patients. I think magnesium is one of the supplements that everyone should be on year round because it's just so hard to get from diet, and we consume a lot of things that deplete our magnesium. For me, for example, for in clinic, a lot of my patients, a lot of medications deplete magnesium, so I like to give magnesium for that. If you drink caffeine, you need more magnesium. We all in bodybuilding, who doesn't? And with exercise, with stress, females for hormones, you need magnesium. But then again, I don't think you need, the expensive kind of magnesium. I think basic. I'm not even a fan of biglycinate. I mean, I understand the science of it, but I think it's marketed in a way for them to make money. Because magnesium bisglycinate is basically magnesium plus glycine, and glycine helps with the bioavailability. Because everyone says, "Oh, magnesium bisglycinate helps with sleep." No, it's the glycine that's in the bisglycinate. That's why it's called that way. That helps with sleep. So technically, you want to take the cheap, magnesium citrate or malate, whatever you tolerate best, and then just take some glycine on the side with it. It's the same thing, half the price. So
It's a good
that's
supplement
yeah.
in the evening. 2 or 3 milligrams in the evening help me as well, for better sleeping patterns.
Yeah. And also careful with the packaging because
And
when we
in
talk the
America, do you also
milligrams,
work
we
with
mean the elemental one.
just continue. I can ask after.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I wanted to ask if you in America also work with bioidentical hormone stuff. So especially in the progesterone and estrogen area, because you can put chemical stuff, estrogen, into the system. But when you say you have like alternating medicine, maybe bioidentical hormones as well can at least help the hormone system to better produce without killing your own your own cycle. Do you
Yeah,
use stuff like this for your clients or for yourself?
we don't. So in our clinic, no, we don't carry those. We don't really manage those, but it exists. There are like HRT clinics that specialize and do just that, and it's very high on the market. The issue here in America, as with everything, is a lot of insurance coverage issues. So these are like newer things will not be covered by insurance, and is definitely very expensive to pay out of pocket. But I know a lot. I have like an attending a friend of mine who has like her own woman wellness clinic, and they do a lot of like hormone replacement therapies. They'll
Mm.
do microdosing, GLP-1s, infusions, peptide therapy, that kind of thing. In my clinic, we'll do like TRT, like we'll do a lot of like testosterone therapy for males, or like estrogen replacement for females after menopause, etc. But nothing more specialized than that.
But that's also like a pretty big topic, right? When estrogen drops after menopause, what a lot of people don't know is not you even can look aging after that when you see the depletion of estrogen, that the skin is aging way faster, and also I think health problems will rise dramatically or exponentially. Would be probably the right word when estrogen drops a lot. So I think that's quite a good idea nowadays to say, okay, when estrogen depletes, we take care of that.
Yeah, especially from a medical standpoint, estrogen is very cardioprotective. So for women, so it protects you from heart attacks, strokes, cardiovascular system. So whenever estrogen drops, you're at higher risk for any cardiovascular issues. The problem is with replacement unopposed estrogen carries risks. So if you just replace estrogen alone, that can increase your risk of like blood clots, and increases the risk for endometrial cancer, which is something that here like they're very, very cautious of. So they'll try to do like a combination replacement, but then that can sometimes come with side effects. So especially for like post-menopausal replacement, it kind of depends on, it's very a case by case basis. For example, if they had a hysterectomy, which means they don't have a uterus, they don't have an endometrium, they don't have any risk for endometrial cancer, you can fully go and replace estrogen safely and they'll feel at their best. If not, then you have to be a little bit more cautious, and we try to be a little bit more symptom specific, because now there's a lot of like biological drugs that are specific for symptoms. So for hot flashes, there's this medication. For libido, there's this medication. For skin, for heart, and be a little bit more targeted to avoid systemic side effects.
Isn't it always like when you like start to replace estrogen, it's important as well to look at progesterone on also on the testosterone levels, to look in all the free or all the hormones and look if the cycle and how they interact with each other is also, I think, an important thing. For me, it's I would never probably in most of the girls would replace estrogen only, because I think at least what I see in blood work, progesterone is mostly the more deficient part, or it's at least some. If it's not, it's a combination of both. And in the least amounts of blood work I have seen in the past, estrogen taking estrogen alone was helpful. It was more probably progesterone or a combination of both, or at least in the experience I had in the last years.
Yeah, here they don't use progesterone a lot for some reason. I'm a fan of progesterone supplementation. I think it helps a lot. I think here for females they don't like it because it's what it's kind of what drives, the weight gain and water retention side effects and the mood swings and all that with that girls get with the contraceptives as well. That's more like most of those like annoying side effects are from the progesterone, so they don't like that. But I think it's important to keep
But
progesterone
I
in
mean, it's
check.
like kind of part of the curve, right?
Hmm. Yeah, but basically, well, if you
Isn't it
if you
like
think about it, especially if it's a female after menopause, she doesn't have a cycle, right? She's not having periods. She's happy she's not having periods anymore. She doesn't want to have hot flashes, etc. But she doesn't want to have mood swings again, because otherwise, what's the point? What's the good part of menopause? So that's why we try to be a little bit more symptom specific. But you did mention testosterone, and I think that's important. And I see that a lot. There's a lot of women here who are on testosterone replacement therapy. That's a big thing. Like females, like over 50, being on like TRT,
yeah,
and
because
there's
it's the
so many
baseline for you
forms.
as well, right? I mean, in completely different amounts, but it's still the biggest hormone for females as well.
Yeah, and it's and I've seen it
Uh,
change. I've seen it change lives. Like they feel the difference immediately.
Problem, and if you raise one to help manipulate or at least stay on a healthy estrogen and progesterone level while using PDs, can also be an interesting part to keep health kind of safe, even if you're like kind of replacing a cycle that is not there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
What is your opinion on that?
when you're on PDs, it's very different because you know you're about to screw up your internal kind of like your internal production. So you're gonna be relying on exogenous, and if you're on prep, if you're like planning for a competition, you purposefully will kind of want to tank your estrogen and your progesterone because that's gonna help with the look, right? Low estrogen means very dry, very hard, very lean. So that's kind of you accept it as part of the plan, but you need to have like a good recovery plan for post show in place as well. And there's also ancillaries that you can use, in prep on cycle to keep androgen or at least DHT levels, because it's DHT that'll cause most of the, virilizing symptoms. You can keep that low. And you can use, just like you would use an aromatase inhibitor for men to keep estrogen low when they're on gear. You could use like spironolactone in females to keep the DHT low. There's things that you can do. It's just that I think most people are either unaware or they kind of like don't care. They're like, let's go all in, win this thing, and we'll fix it afterwards. But it doesn't go that way.
For me, I started as well because that was kind of the known, I think, how you need to do it. You need to kill estrogen at the end, and for females as well. And I think also a lot of coaches still do it with females. But I need to say I stopped do it, and I'm don't killing estrogen in females anymore. And I also don't try to make it like super low at the end. And to be honest, I think the results were even better. Also in the look, sometimes I had the feelings they looked even drier. They slept even better. They
Yeah.
sometimes they had their period 4 weeks out, still 4 weeks out, and even then, when you depleted water, that they had like a fuller and drier and healthier look without depleting estrogen, because it's still something your system runs pretty well to. And I mean, men need to go on lower body fat types, but men don't have as much estrogen. But also there, I'm a way to completely kill it, because I think that kills sleep patterns so much that in the long run that will make even more problems than it's helping, even in prep.
Yeah. I don't
Or
think that's
or at
I don't think
least for
there's
my experience.
ever I don't think there's ever an application to use like an estrogen blocker for females. If your estrogen is too high, like if you're like 2 weeks out, 10 days out, and your estrogen is too high, you're not lean enough. Because if a female, like if the body fat drops to a level when you are stage ready, your body doesn't have enough fat, enough cholesterol to produce estrogen. So there's no way your estrogen would be too high. It might not be zero. It might not be zero, but I don't think maybe, and I'm talking more about the more like leaner, I don't know about the bikini or fit model categories. They probably can still maintain their menstrual cycle because their body fat doesn't drop that low. But if you're figure, woman's physique or above, there's no way you've lost at some point. Maybe not. Six
For sure, yeah.
6 weeks out, but at 4 weeks out, you probably don't have a menstrual cycle anymore. Your estrogen is low. You shouldn't be having estrogen driven water retention, or if you're watery or what, it's not the estrogen. It's you're probably still fat or something else is in play. I would never blame the estrogen unless I've eliminated anything. And again, and I've had this conversation with coaches before, and I've asked them, are we gonna use, something to lower aldosterone, or are we gonna use something to lower estrogen? And the answer was like, we'll get blood work. If it's high, then we might do something. But I wouldn't use anything unless I did blood work first to confirm that, okay, for some reason estrogen is very high. And then again, I wouldn't go with an I wouldn't go with an aromatase inhibitor. I'd go more with like a SERM, like a receptor modulator, like tamoxifen, which will have less lasting damage in hormone production.
But even this, I stopped using because I think that should be not needed and makes more problems after than it helps. So that
Yeah.
is for me also like bad structure of the plan and not
Yeah, yeah. If
seeing
if
before
if you
problems
have to
that you should
if
have
you have
picked.
to use that it means you did something wrong in prep. Like you should not have to use any estrogen blocker in prep in females. Not even You shouldn't even have to use diuretics. Like I feel like these things, and I'm talking about females, not men. Obviously, they're more like emergency measures to kind of save the situation last minute. But it should point out that, okay, next time we need to do something different because obviously something wasn't quite right this time if you needed to do this.
I think mostly pulling out water is something to make weight. To like if you're heavier, and that's kind of normal in classic physique for now. If you're heavier than you're supposed to be, to push you into weight limit, because or like maybe manipulate 1 or 2% of the condition. So pull out some water, but not like I'm trying to push out 5 kilos of water to like look super shredded.
No. Plus, I hate the use of spironolactone in men. Because, like I mentioned before, like spironolactone, yes, it's an aldosterone blocker. It will help with like it's a very mild like diuretic. It's also a DHT blocker. It's an anti-androgen. So it will that's why it can cause like gynecomastia, and like we give it in older men with heart failure, and they get like gynecomastia. They get their testosterone is like tanked down. So you're using all that
Imagine all
gear
the men
and
on
then you're
prep have
using
like
an
so much
anti-androgen. It
DHT,
just doesn't make sense.
but most of the men 2 weeks out have like so many DHT and testosterone in the system that probably doesn't matter. But I think as well that is something that is it most, at least what I've seen, the looks like less full, shittier, not healthy anymore. And if you're like doing 1 day out, some water manipulation to get some water out if needed, then it's kind of okay. But also like in, I would say, very, very, very small amounts of dosages. What I've seen in the past that people like from tamoxifen, they take like just one complete pill of 25 milligrams of it, where I said like you can divide it in 4 and maybe take a fourth of a tablet that helps us enough to push out some water, and then you're ready on the next day. And that's just like most stuff I've done. Or if you just, especially if you need to make weight because you need to push it. But for girls, making weight is not important.
No, we don't get weighed. We don't get weighed. And for especially for female, water manipulation is very different. If you're holding a lot of water at the beginning of peak week, it's probably a bad sign, because women are, it's harder for them to have like a drastic overnight change. So if you're not if you're not dry at all at the beginning of peak week, that probably means there was like more body fat that needed to come out. But then if you're lean enough for the dryness that we require, you probably just need minimal manipulation of water, of sodium, good sleep, right? Your vitamin C, your dandelion if you need to. Because anything more drastic, I think you risk losing fullness so much for like maybe like 1% dryness. That's not worth it. And I've seen it in myself, like for all of my shows, like first for something we did a little bit of like water cutting, I guess. Like I stopped drinking water by maybe like the morning off, nothing too drastic. But we realized that I was very sensitive to dehydration. Like for example, for my first show, Portugal, because I stopped drinking water in the morning and my show was delayed. I went on stage, I think it was like 9 p.m. at night. I was dizzy. I was sitting backstage. I could barely stand. I was looking at my coach and I was telling him like I am falling asleep. Like I was so sleepy. I had zero energy. I was like, I don't know if I can pose. Like I can't. I felt shit. And I looked like shit. Like now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, I am so flat. And then every show we tried a little bit better. And then for the last show, coach was like, you know what? Let's try something different. You're gonna wake up like 4 hours earlier. Like I woke up at 2 a.m. I had to be there at 6 a.m. I didn't go on stage until like 9 a.m. I think, like very early. I didn't sleep. I took a nap. I couldn't sleep anyway. I don't sleep on big week. And we started like water loading. Like I had to have 6 liters in me by 2 hours before the stage. And then I had another 2 liters in between prejudging and finals. So we just water loaded because I was dry anyway. And that worked amazing. I felt great. I looked great. The only problem for females is that makes you pee a lot. And peeing as a
Yeah,
female with the bikini
it's very
and the
complicated
tan
in prep.
is very complicated. So that was the only thing that kind of ruined my show day. Otherwise, it would have been perfect. So I'm
I
never
think
cutting water again. I'm never cutting water again.
even in performance wise in training, I would say hydration, so salt and water in the combination. If you get enough water and enough salt in a day, and you load it in the last days before show, you should get enough pump, you should look full. But if you deplete too much water and manipulate too much sodium, that will always make the look, mostly to 95%, it looks shittier.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, like, everyone says the day after the show they look better. Yeah, because you drank water, you probably had your burger and fries that was high in sodium. So now your body is back to life. It's not rocket science. It makes sense. And no, it doesn't mean
Yes.
that that's what you should do the day before the show, but it means that you probably depleted yourself a little bit too much.
Yeah, because the problem is you just cannot reproduce it because you never know how much sodium and fat and everything was really into it. Even if you ate on McDonald's where you have all the nutrition that you can calculate, that's never 100%. That's
No, no, and like
it's probably
no,
20% of the real what you have done, and you can never redo that again on and hope that it will look the same, or it just
no,
looks
no,
like
yeah.
half an hour the same, and then it looks like shit.
And I know that firsthand. After the Portugal show, I ordered some sushi because my whole prep, I had my sushi refeeds and they were great. But obviously, we were in Portugal and I was competing again the next weekend in Amsterdam and we're traveling the next day. And I got some kind of like food poisoning, but I felt so bad. It was horrible. I couldn't eat. I looked so watery. I looked like a balloon, like I blew up overnight. Coach was like, could not figure out. We were trying everything. I cut out all carbs, all like we were desperately trying to improve the look, and we kind of did. But it was still like I regretted it so much, and I did not do like anything from outside until my last show. Because I was like, nope, never again.
So no, only clean food for you and peak week.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't react well. I love junk food. I don't react well to it. I'm very, very sensitive to sodium. And I know because like every time we'll have like a pizza or something with like I can't even sushi, I can't put a lot of soy sauce on it. Not like it feels too salty. Even my taste buds cannot handle. Like when I eat like a pizza from outside, it just tastes like sodium to me. So and my body just puffs up immediately.
Wow, but then you're super sensible on that. My body gives a shit. Does,
I wish
you can put
I wish I
everything in
could.
it. It looks kind of the same.
No, I'm very, very sensitive. Even sometimes I'll buy like because I have fish in my diet, so I'll buy like frozen fish, and every now and then some of the like fillets like of whitefish of tilapia or whatever, they're frozen in salt water or something, so the actual sodium content of the fish is very high. And the next day I'm scale weight is like 2 kg up. I'm like, fuck me, like, you know, it's fish, it's tilapia for God's sake. But yeah.
But Minas, you're not the same. You're probably way more resilient on.
Bro, I am a trash can. Throw
Yeah.
everything you want.
I'm gonna turn my camera off because I need to get his food ready because someone is on prep and I don't want him going hangry on me.
No, that's not a good idea. But maybe we can at least the people know you a bit now, and for maybe for next postcard who has some questions in the areas you're working in, probably how you have the most experience to tell stuff about it. But for me, it's like super interesting because I'm mostly coaching girls, especially in the areas where we want to try to get period back and get hormone levels on good places. But it's also in Germany, it's super hard to make stuff happen in the HRT area, and especially if the girls are very competitive and taking PEDs, to getting everything right is not easy. But I think also, as you said, it's not easy in America as well because there seems to be a lot of insurance problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be a good idea to like separate. I'd rather pick one topic and go in depth, like have a real discussion, discuss cases of
Yeah,
like personal experiences. I think that might be more helpful because even just one of the topics like hormones, like you said, it depends. Is it just estrogen or progesterone? Are we talking LH and FSH? Because if the problem is higher up, like, right, if we're talking like hypothalamic or like pituitary issues, there's also peptides now, new stuff that can help
yeah,
that
for
you
sure.
can literally just order online and it's cheap. And you just have to know the proper protocol to use it. And, you can have really good results.
You made good results with PD-1 for libido problems.
No, no, I think that one's a scam.
I think as
I'm
well.
not. Yeah, I think for like the anything that's targeting libido, there's like one medication that's now here. It's called like flimsabirin. Like the brand name is Adi, the pink pill they call it. Basically, like Viagra for women, but
Mm.
it's very hard to get the insurance coverage. And without insurance, it's like $300 for like a small pack. So and again, it works 50%. Like for some women, it might work great. For others, it will do absolutely nothing. So I would not use pharmacotherapy for libido. I would use more behavioral techniques and mood because libido is very kind of like psychological and emotional for women rather than hormone driven as it is for men.
Because
So I
the
would
most,
I would target that.
especially when you talk about Viagra for women, it's mostly to increase blood circulation, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they have like problems there because anyway they have too much water in the system, too much fat, or they have like other topics in their health that's creating that issue, and that will always go into psychologically things that they don't feel right, they don't like their self, and when they don't like their self, they maybe are not interesting in libido stuff as well.
exactly. So that's why I said that it's more of a mindset work rather than let's fix the hormones because you can have perfect hormones and still like a bad libido. So I would target and also check what other medications you're taking that might be killing your libido, right? And if women are, especially here in America, 9 out of 10 people are on an SSRI, antidepressants, and they are infamous for causing, low libido and loss in interest in sex, etc. So
9 out of 10.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. They pass them out like candy. All of my patients are on some kind of anti-anxiety drug, antidepressant, because it's so easily. I can just anyone. I'm a family medicine practitioner, so I can see people of all ages, of all kinds. All I have to do is give them a questionnaire in my office that they will just circle a couple of numbers. They can put down whatever they want, and if they score above a certain number, I can prescribe whatever antidepressant I want. They don't need to see a psychologist. They don't need to see a psychiatrist. They don't need to see anyone. And everyone will come into the office saying that they're stressed or that they have bad mood because that is life. And my approach would be, go take a walk or, meditate or listen to some music. But the American, approach is let's start a medication. Let's just take a pill and hope to feel better.
Because that's the easier pathway than to work for it.
Yeah, yeah, and even patients, right? Because it's easier to take a pill than to actually do some internal work.
The same thing goes for everything, like especially right now, GLP-1, like people are prefer to be on a GLP-1 instead of like getting a fucking gym or diet down or do cardio. They prefer to take a pill or inject something to just make their life easier. Like that's how people are. That's how society makes people are.
Yeah, and that's why I've never prescribed a GLP-1. I've continued it on patients that came to me and they were like already on one. And the only patients even now in America for as far as insurance coverage, only diabetics. Only if you have diabetes, you might get coverage for a GLP-1. And I love GLP-1s for diabetes. They're very effective in bringing down the A1C and helping with blood glucose control. So I love them for diabetics, and they're a lot safer than insulin, especially in the older population. But I would never prescribe it just for weight loss. Not only because it doesn't teach behavioral change, so I don't think it's the correct approach to weight loss, but also I don't like the results. I don't like that sarcopenia because they lose all their muscle mass. They have a shit ton of side effects and they look very unhealthy because they lose all this weight really fast, but then they'll stop it and they'll have the rebound weight gain and then they look even worse than they did before. So
And the
Point guard.
habits they are doing, the habits they're doing, how they got all that weight still is there.
Yeah, it's
And that is
basically
also, I think, a reflection on why they look so shitty, because they maybe eat less, but they eat the same shit they've
exactly.
eaten before.
They didn't change the bad habits they had, so they just added something that helps them like lose weight, not fat, weight. So it's basically just create a hole in the water.
I think this is the problem at the moment with all the medication and stuff at the moment that's coming out, with all the new peptides that's coming out. There are quite some good peptides for sure, but for everything you have a peptide now, for everything you have a pill now,
Yeah,
everything
it's
is easy now. But the the effects that maybe come with it, and all, especially because a lot of peptides are still in a research base on,
mhm,
if you're clever, you're using peptides that at least are research on humans and not only on animals. But bodybuilders are also very interested to try everything, and it comes with a lot of side effects that they will see in the long run. So every week I see like, this peptide is the best. You need to take this peptide, or you need to take this medicine. But I think medicine is something should fix the problem that you not can fix alone,
mhm,
and you cannot fix it by time, and therefore medication can help to fix stuff. But maybe medication also is something like a Kickstarter that helps to get back into some healthier position where the body is able to do it alone again, and you can pull out the medication, because you cannot take GLP-1 forever, as
mhm.
an example.
Yeah, but that's why they relapse when they take off the GLP-1. They gain back their weight, and it's so much worse because they have already lost their muscle mass, and when they start gaining back their weight, basically fat, it's they're more weaker, or they're at the worse state that were before.
What are you getting for food for today? What is on your
So
list?
now I have potato, eggs, and ham and veggies.
It's coming. It's coming. It's
So,
almost ready.
Yeah, I'm hungry. So
that's a good idea to kinder end the podcast, probably, to maybe we see you in the next podcast as well, and we can dive into one or two topics you like to
I
talk
think,
about.
yeah, I think it's better if we break it, like to speak for a specific topic at the next one. Like we can bring Clio like for 3 or 4 or 5 even like episodes and basically break down everything. So okay, if she's at work, like we can do it. Or maybe Andrea wants to join as well, like to talk about her prep as well. Or we can bring someone else in, but we can like find a topic, and when Clio is at home or she's not at work, like
But I
she
think
can.
especially in hormones and
Mhm,
supplements and
mhm.
medicine and health,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but
really
it's better
interesting to
like to
talk
have a
about,
topic. It's
because
better
And
to
I
I,
was,
have.
yeah, I
in
was
my
gonna
opinion,
say, if you give me a topic, I can also gather like actual like research papers, or like, numbers, like make it, give it some ground, give it some evidence, that it's not
we
just
can talk
words in
about some
the air.
research papers, but that's not that we can do. I'm also like a lot into, I'm always looking into actual papers and science, to trying to improve, especially on health stuff and pharmacology. But for me, important is just we pick some topics that we can also, you do it for men, but I think also to dive more also a bit into the girls section would be very interesting, because I don't know how many people in US talking about hormone and health in bodybuilding, and especially what is like really interesting to do and what you shouldn't do, because what I see in Europe is that 90% are doing bullshit for women, because they just treat it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So the last thing before we close, now that Clio is in, Clio, give us an anime that is not so an anime that is not so known, but you like to watch to recommend to people.
That is not known.
Yeah. So far, we gave Akamega Kill, and then we gave the Shangri La Frontier.
So that was both stuff from me. It's your turn or Clio's turn to say
No,
something.
I said, yeah, you gave Akamega Kill. So yeah, Clio give this one, I will give the next one.
I don't know if Gachakuta is considered known or not, but I think it was really nice.
Yeah, that one was good. I don't know if you have seen it.
I haven't seen it, to be honest.
It was, how was the name? It's strange.
Gachakuta, yeah, GACHIAKUTA.
What is this about, the anime? Maybe you can dive 1 minute
It's
into it so the people getting interested.
it's okay. I'm into like kind of like the dark psychological stuff. It's about two worlds basically, and there's like the top world and then the lower world where everyone dumps the trash. So there's people that live in the
I
normal
know that
world.
but I think I saw that with the boy that get
Yeah,
thrown down in the down world.
yeah,
Okay, then I saw that.
yeah. So I think that was the psychological aspect of it. I think was very interesting. And if for something a bit lighter, I think Spy Family is also very nice.
Yeah,
Spy
that one was
Family
more
was
like,
like really, really nice. Andrea
Yeah,
and me both loved Spy Family because it was like super light to watch.
yeah,
It
and
like kind of
funny.
for children as well, but it had like
yeah.
so many funny moments.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay. So that was today's podcast, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Again, like, comment below if you have any questions from Cleo, Patrick, or me. Give us a topic if you want to learn more on, and we will see you on next one.
Bye.
Bye.